And I thank God for everything, because it's just been rough. I didn't know what was going to happen to me, and nobody did. So this is the first time in my life I've ever gone through something like that.
I had some silicone in me.
I'm going to send them to pathology, but they're silicone or methyl methacrylate. There's something, and she's got thousands and hundreds of thousands.
I just wanted it. Like, I wanted that shape. That's the shape that I wanted. And I wanted to look like that. And I think the older you get tired of having to hop into your jeans. Or you get
everything in me. And what women don't know what's going on right now, if you got those shots 4 or 5 years ago, you're gonna be sick. It's no avoiding it. Wow. It's nothing you can do to avoid it. And they not telling girls still getting it.
What if chasing the perfect body nearly cost you your life? K. Michelle was once the face of fierce confidence, glammed up, unapologetic, and dominating the screen on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Fans couldn't get enough of her attitude, her voice, her look. But behind the filters and flashing lights was something darker, something even she didn't fully understand, until it was almost too late. This wasn't just a beauty journey gone wrong. It was a slow, silent disaster that nearly ended everything. And once it started, there was no turning back.
I got all of this surgery and stuff like that thinking, it was gonna make me just, feel great about everything. And new teeth, either the new breasts, ass, lipo, face fillers, everything, you know what I'm saying?
You did all that?
I do love my fillers. The happiness can't come from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was still like, okay, people like, oh, she's pretty or she's this. But when you go home alone, you know what I'm saying? You still gotta deal with issues. You know what I'm saying? And that plastic surgery don't cover up the inside.
Before the headlines, before the surgeries, and way before the heartbreak, K. Michelle was on the come up. She had that raw, southern energy that made her impossible to ignore. Her voice was powerful. Her personality even more so. And when she hit Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, she became an instant fan favorite. It wasn't just her talent that stood out. It was her confidence, her curves, her no-nonsense attitude. She had that it factor. And in a world where appearance sells just as much as sound, she seemed to have the whole package. But as her fame grew, so did the expectations. Because in the industry, being good isn't enough. You've got to look flawless. And that pressure, it starts to dig deep.
the worst decision of my entire life. It was on the black market, but I went to a person that was well known in my music circle, you know?
When you say black market, define what he was and was not.
He was not a doctor. He does this in a hotel room. He told us that it was jail, some type of jail or whatever, when it was actually free-floating silicone in your body. So I didn't have any real symptoms until like 5-6 years later.
For K. Michelle, the pressure didn't come from strangers. It came from every direction. Scrolling through Instagram, hitting red carpets, standing next to other artists who had the look. It was constant. She was already naturally curvy, but in her mind, it wasn't enough. I just wanted that shape, she admitted. The hourglass figure had become the gold standard. BBLs were everywhere, from influencers to A-list celebs. And when you're in the public eye, the unspoken message is loud. Level up or get left behind. What started as self-improvement turned into obsession. It wasn't about health. It wasn't even about confidence anymore. It was about keeping up. The camera doesn't just add 10 pounds, it adds 10 layers of insecurity. So when K. Michelle heard about a shortcut that could give her that exaggerated figure fast, she took it. No hesitation.
Go one morning, my legs gave out. I couldn't walk. Wow. Like, they just went out. I just dropped to the ground.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, and my vision was blurry. And I was like, did I have a stroke? Like, what is going on? So rushed, called the ambulance. Nothing was wrong because it doesn't show up. Mm-hmm. Like, they told me I had lupus. Then the lupus panel came back, well, no. At first it said lupus, and it came back, a full panel said no lupus. And so the MRI showed that the shot, you can look and see where it's black. Wow. So everybody with those shots, the inside of your butt, you can see it on the MRI because it's black. Because to do it right, it cost me upward of $300,000 because insurance doesn't cover it. Wow. So you can go spend $5,000 on it, but to get it out, it can cost you about $3,000 to get it out. So,
were you insecure about your body?
I had a big ass, no.
Because I was gonna say,
I
like,
just
you
wanted
always
bigger.
Had a shapely body.
So God has really humbled me, has really given me, because I already was curvy.
Yeah.
So I just wanted some more. So that's why I didn't have hips.
That shortcut didn't come with a medical license or even a real clinic. It was a man in Atlanta operating out of hotel rooms, promising instant results with no surgery table, no paperwork, no waiting list. Kay Michelle thought she was getting hydrogel, something that sounded a little more legit, but what actually went into her body was free-floating silicone, a toxic substance not approved for any kind of medical use. She wasn't alone in making that choice. Peer pressure played a role. She even mentioned that one of her favorite rappers had already done it. In that world, it didn't seem like a risk. It felt like a rite of passage. But what no one tells you is that these underground procedures don't come with follow-ups, just fallout.
I found a doctor that could treat me who shouldn't treat me. And he somewhat made it worse.
Wow.
Because he allowed it, and you can't lipo this type of thing. And that's what doctors first wanted to do. Well, it's like motor oil. So once they turn into pellets. So once you bust those pellets, it's like free-floating silicone in your body that's moving through your body.
At first, everything seemed fine. No pain, no side effects, just compliments. Social media lit up with praise for her transformation. Fans gushed over her new look. Confidence, it skyrocketed. From the outside, it looked like a success story. She looked flawless, felt empowered, and kept moving forward in her career like nothing was wrong. But inside her body, that silicone wasn't staying still. It was spreading, slowly, silently. And the scariest part? She had no idea. Every photo shoot, every performance, every red carpet moment came with a hidden cost building up under the surface. She was living on borrowed time, and she didn't even know it.
So I found a doctor that specialized in this, and, it took me about 13 surgeries later in 3 years. And I would say this year is the first year I'm going on like a year and a half that I haven't had to have any surgery at all, that this has, thank you. This has been a thing where I've just been wanting to become an advocate for, to speak on, because that was like the worst time of my life.
It didn't start with a bang. It started with a collapse. One day, her legs just gave out. No warning, no explanation. She thought she was having a stroke. There was pain, vision problems, numbness, and fatigue that never seemed to go away. What the doctors found was terrifying. The silicone had migrated through her body, sinking into her legs, damaging tissue, threatening her organs. Her body was literally fighting to function. And the worst part? There was no clear fix. The procedures she'd once seen as enhancements were now a medical crisis. Every step became a struggle, every movement painful. Kay Michelle wasn't dealing with beauty maintenance anymore. She was trying to survive.
But for me, my body has been such a big thing, and I really wasn't going to hide it, and I didn't with work. My work fell off last year, everything. It really affected.
Because of your health.
Yeah, it really affected my livelihood. So now I'm just feeling like I'm just getting back to like being me. I'm feeling and that's why I've been saying, like, I'm feeling better. We still have rough days since we're on tour, just trying to keep me healthy because I still have a lot.
Desperation led to surgeries, 13 of them over 3 years. And they weren't routine touch-ups. These were high-risk, emotionally draining, physically brutal procedures meant to reverse something that was never meant to be in her body. One doctor even tried liposuction to remove the silicone, which only made things worse by spreading it further into her tissue. Her body became a test subject, a puzzle no one could solve. Each operation came with fresh trauma. Blood transfusions, infections, emergency room visits. She wasn't just losing time, she was losing herself. The woman who once owned every stage now struggled just to get out of bed. And through it all, the industry that once praised her beauty, it went quiet.
Very personal for me. I've always been very open about everything in my career, from the good, the bad. There's not in between when it comes to me. And when I started to go through this, I never once thought to hide it or to keep it from the people that loved me and supported me. I wanted them not to make the same mistake as me, because they were looking at me and looking up to me so much, whether it's relationship advice, whether it's any type of advice. So I wanted to tell the truth about what people won't say.
Then came the moment no one could ignore. During a performance, caught on camera, her body visibly malfunctioned. Her surgically enhanced backside shifted mid-dance, and the video exploded online. It was like watching the illusion shatter in real time. People were shocked. Some laughed, others panicked. But for K. Michelle, it was a breaking point. Years of private pain were now exposed in front of millions. She didn't have the option to hide anymore. That clip turned her story into a spectacle. But it also forced a conversation the industry wasn't ready for. Suddenly, her body wasn't just hers, it was a warning. Instead of hiding, K. Michelle did the unthinkable. She told the truth. All of it. No PR filter, no sugarcoating. She launched My Killer Body, a raw, emotional series that gave others the chance to share their own regrets and survival stories. Her mission was clear: stop the silence, especially for young Black women being sold a fantasy at the cost of their health. She spoke openly about the pain, the procedures, the identity loss, everything she wished someone had told her. "I never once thought to hide it," she said. "I wanted my fans not to make the same mistake as me." The fame, the fashion, even the music had taken a back seat. Her voice now carried something deeper than lyrics. It carried a warning. K. Michelle's story isn't just about cosmetic surgery gone wrong. It's about the hidden cost of chasing perfection in a world obsessed with appearances. She paid with her body, her career, and her peace of mind. And yet, in exposing her scars, she did something powerful. She flipped the script. What once brought her shame is now her platform. She turned trauma into truth, and silence into a message that women everywhere needed to hear. Because behind so many perfect bodies on social media lies a story no filter can hide. Her journey is messy, painful, and unfinished, but it's real. And in a world built on illusions, that kind of honesty is rare, maybe even revolutionary. K. Michelle didn't just survive, she changed the conversation. And the next time someone thinks about taking the same risk, they'll remember her story, and maybe, just maybe, they'll think twice. If this story made you pause, made you think twice, or just opened your eyes to what really goes on behind the scenes of perfect bodies, don't scroll. Hit that like button so this message reaches more people. Subscribe for more real stories the industry doesn't want you to hear, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Because behind every filter, there's a truth. And we're here to expose it.